Good morning, everyone. I'm Charlotte Lehman, and this is Good Morning Especially. Have you seen the meme, Good Morning to Everyone Except? This podcast is the opposite. Instead of except, we're saying especially. The world can be a tough place, so every weekday in January, or maybe forever, we'll see how this goes, we are here to start your day with some positivity and gratitude. Writing a love letter to Yellowstone National Park would be impossible. There's too much beauty, life, history to articulate in mere words. I hope that everyone has a chance to visit Yellowstone someday and see for themselves why it is so special. I have been there 3 times, and I really hope that I can visit again soon, hopefully later this year. But here's a collection of some of my favorite Yellowstone memories. Getting up before dawn to be in the Lamar Valley before sunrise. The 3 a.m. wake up was so hard, but seeing the sunrise in the valley would have been worth it even if that's all we saw. But it wasn't all we saw. We watched a young black wolf with golden eyes trot across the road and down the line of parked cars. And I can't even explain just how awe-inspiring this was. I haven't seen a wolf in the wild outside of Yellowstone, and I had never seen a wild wolf anywhere near that close. So even writing about this now, years later, literally years later, brings up this feeling of awe. I literally got to see my favorite animal in the wild like that at dawn. That 3 a.m. wake up was so worth it. Stopping to watch a coyote and his mate around a bighorn carcass. The bighorn was a fresh kill. There were 2 ravens enjoying its innards, which does sound disgusting, but honestly, it was just really cool to see. A lot of the time, nature sounds really gross, but when you actually see it, it just feels so natural to the situation that it's far less shocking than you would think. So the coyotes really wanted that bighorn, but they wouldn't get very close to it. They were just kind of circling it and watching it. A small crowd gathered, maybe 10 people to watch. When there's a fresh kill, it's usually worth stopping because there's probably some sort of predator nearby. And then someone said, "Oh my God, there's a mountain lion." Mountain lions are pretty elusive in Yellowstone, so seeing one is an incredible treat. Like a once-in-a-lifetime kind of treat. And here he was, just taking a cat nap behind a tree while keeping one eye open to make sure those coyotes did not steal his kill, and the coyotes knew a lot better than to mess with the cougar. We stayed watching this mountain lion and coyotes and ravens on this kill for at least an hour and a half. We got pretty sunburned because we were not expecting that, and it's one of my favorite memories. Ice cream on the lawn in Mammoth Hot Springs with my dog. Mammoth is one of the few developed spots in Yellowstone. It's a little village with a couple of shops, a food hall, a post office, and it was so hot the first time I went to Yellowstone. And I had my dog with me, which is not really ideal circumstances to visit Yellowstone. But we made the best of it, and we got some ice cream and just sat on the grass enjoying the ice cream and enjoying people watching. My dog loved being out of the car and people watching in general. He got to meet a kid who was really interested in him, and if you knew my dog Starsky, you know that he adored children. And it's just this lovely, happy memory of my dog, and I was truly relaxed and happy, and it was just a nice bonding moment between me and Starsky. He died almost a year ago, and that makes this memory just that much more special to me. Watching the iconic Old Faithful geyser. I am just as fascinated with Yellowstone's thermal features as I am with the wildlife, honestly, maybe even more so. So, of course, I wanted to go see Old Faithful. What I did not anticipate seeing was a bison moseying across the field and stopping directly in front of Old Faithful as it was erupting at the height of its eruption. I am so in love with the photo I took at that moment. Wildlife and geology are the 2 things that Yellowstone is protected for, and they kind of just came together as one in that moment, and it was just so cool. Yellowstone is also the reason I started collecting national parks. I visited a few new ones this year, and I really want to see them all. Something about the preservation of these special spaces is so inspiring to me, and it's with that inspiration that today I say good morning to everyone, especially national parks and especially Yellowstone. I'm Charlotte Lehman, and this is Good Morning Especially. Every day, we're here to tell everyone good morning, especially to a certain someone. This podcast is a group project, so I want to hear who you're saying good morning to. You can email us at goodmorningspeciallypod@gmail.com. Either write it out in the email or record it as a voice memo and send it. I can't wait to hear who you're wishing good morning to. You can find me all over social media at Charlotte with Dogs and Charlotte Lehman on YouTube. If you liked this episode of Good Morning Especially, check out the Bears and Brews podcast that I co-host with my friends Pam and Salome. It's a fun and educational podcast about wildlife, and it's available on all the major podcasting platforms. Thanks for listening, and good morning.